Hi, I'm Chef Ginger with Making It Real. It's a local company that is focused on connecting our community to local producers, and we're doing that today with a summer squash and basil pasta.
Welcome to our Chef at the Market virtual demonstration brought to you by RV Ag. Each week we will be featuring local chefs who will be sharing recipes using farm fresh products sourced from the RV Ag online marketplace. For more information or recipes, visit our website.
From Deer Run, and I always get my squash from them. I have a whole bunch of squash at the house right now. I love their produce. It's a family-run farm, and I think Chris is second generation, and he's got his daughter working with him also. And that's one of the things that not only is our mission to connect our community to our local vendors, but we advocate eating seasonal and cooking seasonally, and as to not only for the fact that you get amazing produce and you get everything is at its peak of ripeness and flavor when you eat seasonally, but it's also awesome for your immune system. But we do saute it, and we'll be using some of these oils. We have sunflower oil that is from right here in Powhatan, we rye, it's a Golden Harvest, and it is a high heat oil. When you're doing this kind of sauteing, you want to make sure you're using a high heat oil, and it's sunflower and olive oil. Olive oil is more of a flavoring oil, so we're going to want to cook with the sunflower oil. The pasta water is an amazing sauce finisher. It's got the starches, it's got the salt. Don't salt anything until you finish with the pasta water. And it kind of pulls a sauce together, whether it's a tomato-based sauce or a cream-based sauce, or like today we're going to be doing kind of just an olive oil or an oil and garlic sauce. It will pull it all together with the pasta water. There's also a school of thought that crushing your garlic brings out some of the sweetness. We are going to do that in the pan also, but it also keeps it from flying across the pan. Lots of yummy garlic, and I bet we have water that isn't boiling at this point. Okay, so we've got this on a low heat because first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our garlic in there. You don't want garlic to be on a high heat because it burns very, very quickly. I'm going to stir it just enough to get all of the squash coated in the sunflower oil. And then we can give it a few minutes to sit. What's going to start to happen is it will start to brown a tiny bit, and it's going to get to a jammy consistency. And that's when the magic happens. Now today we used yellow zucchini and green zucchini, but it's a summer squash dish. You can throw in crookneck, you can throw in the patty pan, you can throw in any of the summer squash. You don't want winter squash, but any of the summer squash do really well in this dish. You could even throw in onions if you want. Onions would add a whole different level, to create a whole different taste, a flavor palette for this. This recipe calls for something called an Aleppo pepper. It is a kind of ground pepper that is used in Turkish cooking. Now, it's got a flavor that's very similar to a rough or finely chopped chili flakes. So we use the chili flakes for throwing on big pizza and all that kind of good stuff. It's got a little bit of that flavor, but it also has kind of a chipotle chili powder flavor to it. So if you cannot find the Aleppo-style pepper, so here's what it looks like. It's not horribly spicy. It's got a little tiny bit of a spice, but it has a little bit of smoky flavor. It's a really yummy pepper. You can easily substitute crushed chili flakes and a chipotle-style chili powder. But it's just that you want that little tiny bit of smoky flavor and a little tiny bit of heat, because it really does It's not overpowering, but it really adds to the dish. We're going to use a short fat rigatoni today, but if you can't find this, or you have ziti or penne in your pantry, those are just as fine. This will just make it a little bit of a lighter dish. And of course, if you have a gluten-free option and you want to use it, it works just fine. Now the dish that we're going to use to make today doesn't really have a sauce. So what we're going to do is we're going to save about a cup of the pasta water when we strain the pasta, so that we can kind of put it in once everything mixes, and we'll allow the pasta to finish cooking with the squash. Put a little pasta water in there, and it'll bring together a really nice sauce. So while the recipe does call for some salt, we're not going to put any salt in it because we do have a heavily salted pasta water. So one of the things about the dish, and one of the things that I think really finishes off any dish that we often miss, is acid. And I don't mean anything horrible, but when you're working with a dish that's got all of the pasta, it's got the creaminess, the thing that your mouth likes, you've got the squash and the garlic and all those things that are a very creamy sensation in your mouth, adding a small bit of lemon juice, and we're not talking about something that's going to make it taste like a lemon sauce. We're talking about maybe even just a teaspoon in this entire dish will just add something to how it flavors and how you taste it in your mouth. Nobody will know what it is, they'll just know it's awesome. Basil makes your skin black. It turns your skin and your nails, it will stain them. So we're tearing it, but also if you cut it, it will have a tendency to look very bruised in your dish. So we're just going to tear it, because when it gets in the hot pasta and the sauce at the very end, it will wilt and it will add just enough flavor. Now the squash is really starting to jam up, and the pasta is almost ready. The timing is going to be perfect. We have less than a minute left until the pasta is ready, and we are making it super al dente because, like I said before, it will finish cooking in the sauce. So in the sink, I already have a measuring cup under a strainer, so that I can just take this hot pot of pasta, pour it in. We do not rinse the pasta. That will take all the lovely starches off so that our sauce won't come together. We want to keep it there. This is an al dente pasta. It's not overcooked, so we don't want to rinse it. So when it's ready, we're making a dash for the sink. And we're going to sprinkle a teaspoon of our Aleppo pepper in here. We're going to put in our pasta. And we want to put in about a half a cup of the pasta water, so we put it all together. You can always add more. See how it's pulling that all nice, creamy. A little bit of Parmesan cheese. It's about 2 ounces, and we're going to put in a dash of lemon. Like I said, we don't need that much. A little bit more pasta water. The reason we turned off the heat, when you throw the basil in, you don't want to cook the basil. You want it to just wilt into the sauce. Again, this is our summer squash basil pasta dish, and it's using local produce, seasonal produce, and now all you got to do is enjoy. Now, while this is a great pasta dish, it's also a great dish to serve on bread. If you want to make an appetizer on it, you can get some small bits of bread, toast them up, and put this on, obviously without the pasta, and make a nice appetizer. It's also really good without the pasta in a ravioli. So there are a lot of things you can do with the dish. There's a lot of things you can do with the flavor palette, and